Hi guys. If you are watching this, it's because either you were absent on Friday or because you need a little reminding about what we're doing here. So here's an introduction to how to do note cards for your research paper. Step 4 on your research paper is about taking notes on note cards. So the first question that you might have is, why does Ms. Thompson make you use note cards? There's 3 reasons. First reason is to help you avoid plagiarism, which is otherwise known as regurgitation, which is otherwise known as an F on your paper. If you take information and put it in your own words on a note card, you are much less likely to plagiarize in your paper. So that's the number 1 reason. Number 2 reason is because when you have information on note cards, it is easy to move that information around and organize it and put it in different order, even if it's from a whole bunch of different sources. And the further you go in school, the more sources you're going to be working with, and the more you're going to see why note cards come in handy. Also, when you're writing a draft, it helps you kind of reorder your facts and your ideas without having to rewrite it 3 different times. You just shuffle your cards around. So it just gives you more flexibility with organizing your thoughts that are coming from lots of different places when you're doing research. So that's why we're doing it. No whining, no complaining. They work. Believe me. All right, so here's how you do it. The first kind of note card you need to learn how to make is a source card, because you need to keep track of your sources so you don't plagiarize, and then it's easy to do your works cited page at the end. A source card is where every time you use a new resource, a book or a website, you make a card for that source, and then that source gets a number. So this is my number 1 source, my number 2 source, and then you can reference that number. So any note that you make, because you're going to make a bunch of notes from that source, any note that you make gets that same source number. So when you're mixing your 1s and your 2s and your 3s together to write your research paper, you will always know where you got that information from because you have this source card. It helps you organize your cards according to topic and still recognize where they came from, like I just said. So here's a source card, and if you flip in the research project packet that you have to the second page, you're going to see 3 empty boxes. That's for you to copy this down. I need you to copy down what you see on the screen as a sample of a source card. Do that now. Pause the recording. So now that you have it written down in that first box, let's label what all of this stuff is. Top center, that is the type of source. This is a book. Over here is the source number. Remember I said each source gets a number. So there is that. This is my first source, so it gets a number 1. Down in the corner, you want to write your initials and whatever hour you have English. That way, if they fall out of your backpack and go all over the floor, we know who to return them to. Okay? A few more things to label on this one. This you should already know from computer class. You need to make sure that your source information is written in MLA format, which means the author goes first, then the title, the city of the publication and the publisher, and then the date. So make sure you have all of this information labeled on your note card in your packet so that you can refer to it while you're doing your work. You have an example right in front of you all the time. That's the first square. This is an example of an online source card. I want you to copy this into the second square on your research paper and label it once again like so. Take some time, do your second note card. Okay, so now you should have 2 samples in your packet so you can always refer to them and you'll know how to make your source card. So you don't have to come running to Ms. Thompson and say, how do I do this, right? Good. And you also can go a little bit faster because you won't have to keep looking up what it's supposed to look like. All right, so source cards, there they are. Why don't we do a practice one? Okay, create a source cited card for this book in the third one down, that empty one, the third one. Pause the screencast and do that now. And let's see how you did. This is what it should look like. Does yours look like this? It does? Oh, I knew it would. Good job. All right, so 3 examples. You know how to do it. Moving forward. Actually, that's where this screencast is going to stop. Okay, thanks. See you later.